Fellow Nigerians, in a democracy, the very foundation of governance rests on trust, fairness, and the confidence that every citizen has an equal opportunity to participate in shaping the future. Yet, Nigerians are confronted with a claim that challenges these fundamental principles. The Obidient movement, a well-organized grassroots network supporting former presidential candidate Peter Obi, has alleged that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, may be plotting to deny him a legitimate platform for the 2027 presidential election. This allegation is not merely political rhetoric. It strikes at the heart of electoral integrity and raises profound questions about the state of democracy in Nigeria. Peter Obi, a figure widely regarded as a symbol of reform and generational change in Nigerian politics, commands a significant following. His supporters, united under the Obidient movement, argue that he represents a credible alternative to the entrenched political establishment, offering a vision that resonates with youths, urban voters, and Nigerians seeking a departure from the status quo. The movement claims that the ruling All Progressive Congress, in coordination with elements within INEC, is intent on constraining Obi's access to a presidential platform, limiting his ability to compete fairly in the lead-up of the 2027 election. These allegations, if true, goes far beyond partisan politics. It is a direct challenge to the notion of impartial electoral administration. The Obidient movement suggests that procedural maneuvers could be used to hinder Peter Obi's candidacy, partially excluding him from key party processes, creating artificial barriers to eligibility, or employing technicalities that prevent him from presenting his vision to the electorate. For a democratic society, these are not trivial matters. They touch on the very essence of the people's right to choose their leaders freely and without obstruction. Observers point to historical precedents where perceived interference by electoral bodies has eroded public confidence. Decisions about party recognition, candidate validation, and procedural compliance have often generated debate, controversies, and sometimes even protest. Critics of the current administration argue that these trends, when viewed cumulatively, suggest that Nigeria's electoral framework can be influenced by political interest rather than operating as an impartial arbiters. The allegation by the Obidient movement feed directly into this narrative, creating an atmosphere of suspicion and uncertainty at a critical moment in the political calendar. The implications of such allegations are profound. Democracy is more than a system of voting. It is a contract between the state and its citizens based on fairness, transparency, and accountability. When voters perceive that political actors or institutions are working to undermine opposition candidates, trust in the entire process is eroded. Questions arise not only about the legitimacy of individuals' election, but also about the credibility of institutions that are meant to safeguard democratic norms. The timing of these claims amplifies their impact. With the 2027 election still some time away, this allegation sets the stage for a politically charged environment months before the official campaign begins. By raising concerns about INEC's impartiality now, The Obidient movement is not only defending its candidate, but also signaling the electorate that vigilance will be necessary to ensure a free and fair contest. The debate has moved from party politics into the larger realm of national consciousness, prompting citizens to reflect on how electoral fairness can be protected against both overt and subtle manipulation. Supporters of INEC, however, maintain that the Commission is constitutionally mandated to act impartially. They argue that allegations of plotting or bias are often politically motivated themselves, designed to shape public perception rather than reflect casual wrongdoing. For them, the focus should remain on adherence to procedure, legal compliance, and the careful execution of electoral guidelines to ensure that every candidate, including Peter Obi, can participate according to the law. Yet, the Obidient movement's claim cannot be dismissed lightly. They illuminate a tension that exists in Nigeria's political landscape. They delegate balance between authority and accountability, between procedural compliance and perceived fairness, and between the exercise of power and the protection of democratic rights. Every accusation, every allegation, and every counterclaim contributes to the larger story of whether Nigeria's democratic institutions are robust enough to withstand political pressure and public skepticism. For the Nigerian public, the challenge is clear. Citizens must remain informed, vigilant, and engaged. The integrity of an election is not determined solely by the actions of electoral bodies. It is also shaped by public scrutiny, active participation, and the willingness of voters to hold institutions accountable. Allegations such as those raised by the Obidient movement serve as a reminder that democracy is not passive. It requires constant observation, debate, and at times, confrontation with uncommon truths. As this story unfolds, all eyes will be on INEC, Peter Obi, and the political forces that shaped the lead-up of 2027. Transparency, communication, and fairness will determine whether the public continue to trust the electoral process or whether cynicism and doubt will overshadow democratic engagement. One thing is certain: the conversation ignited by these allegations has already shifted the narrative, forcing Nigerians to ask urgent questions about fairness, opportunity, and the true meaning of democratic competition in a nation that prides itself on the right to vote freely. In the end, this is more than a story about one candidate or one political party. It is about the principles that hold a democracy together: equality, impartiality, and accountability. The coming months will reveal whether Nigeria can rise to meet the challenge, ensuring that every citizen and every candidate has the right to compete fairly on a platform that is truly free, open, and representative of the people's will. This is News Express. Many thanks for watching. I am Cassie Tony. Stay tuned as we bring you more updates. Do have a lovely day.